Scenario: you're making a non-alcoholic cocktail, but you add just 2 dashes of Angostura bitters. How much ingredients do you need for your drink to be considered non-alcoholic? You'll find out today. Hi friends of cocktails! Today we're making another episode for our friends who prefer non-alcoholic cocktails, or zero-proof cocktails, or mocktails, or virgin cocktails, whatever you want to call them. After today, you'll be able to make an old-fashioned without any alcohol. Pretty cool, right? To do that, we'll use the non-alcoholic aromatic and orange bitters we made in the previous episode, but you'll also make this, a DIY zero-proof bourbon-inspired drink that can be used to make non-alcoholic versions of classic cocktails. We'll call it a zero bourbon. This recipe was again inspired by the book Zero, and as the authors point out, recreating spirit-forward drinks where a high-proof spirit plays a central role in its flavor profile is a lot harder than with bright, refreshing drinks, like a daiquiri for example. So we'll have our work cut out for us today. But that's what makes it fun, right? We'll keep our palates open and our minds sharp, because once again, it's zero-proof cocktail time. We start with the same disclaimer as you'll find in this book. You won't mistake this or any other zero-proof spirit for that matter for its alcoholic counterpart when you'll try this on its own. Think of it as an interesting and complex building block of a mixed drink, opening up mixology options for those that wish to stay away from alcohol. So if you'd like to see how to make more of these zero-proof components, such as non-alcoholic liqueurs or amari, let me know in the comments. We already made non-alcoholic bitters, so let's make our version of a zero-proof bourbon, which was inspired by what this book calls in the style of American whiskey. I used this as the starting point, then created a few more batches to end up with my zero bourbon recipe. Same as with bitters, you can make this in a pot, but a sous vide will always give you better results. To make a zero bourbon, you'll need 1 liter of water, 24 grams of molasses, 20 grams of malted barley, 40 grams of banana peel, 20 grams of dried peaches, 30 grams of unsalted popped popcorn, 10 grams of oak chips, which will char, 10 grams of fenugreek seeds, 10 grams of cinnamon, crushed. This time you're using Chinese, not Ceylon cinnamon, 2.5 grams of a vanilla bean, with the seeds scraped out, and 1 gram of salt. Now just add everything into a sous vide bag. In the book, dried figs were added as well. The ratio of ingredients was quite different. You'd also need to roast the barley and banana in an oven first, but I prefer the taste I got by skipping these steps. As always with a sous vide technique, nothing gets cooked off. And we have complete control over temperature and time. Speaking of, this will cook at 90 degrees Celsius or 195 degrees Fahrenheit for 1 hour. Once done, we'll take the bag and place it in an ice bath to cool completely. Then cut open the bag and completely strain out all the solids with a fine mesh strainer. We'll filter out all the small particles when we clarify this liquid with Pectinex overnight. So weigh how much liquid you ended up with, because we need to add 0.2 gram of Pectinex for every 100 grams of liquid. In the US, you can get this on Amazon or Modern's Pantry, and for Europe I'll leave a link to the special ingredients website. Leave to sit in the fridge overnight and filter through a rinsed coffee filter. Pectinex accelerates the separation, but you'll see that happening in the bottle even without it. You can gently filter the liquid then. While this still won't give us the perfectly clear liquid, you can refilter the whole batch through the same filter to get a better results. I think the visual aspect is an important element of making non-alcoholic variations of cocktails, so the clearer the better, if you ask me. But this step is optional of course. Something that's not optional is keeping our zero bourbon in the fridge and using it within 10 or so days, since this isn't alcohol-based and doesn't have any preservatives. So one thing you can do is bottle in small batches, like I'm doing here, and freeze what you don't need in that short period. Don't forget the label, and your zero bourbon is ready to make a ZerOld Fashioned. As mentioned, this is not meant as a direct spirit substitute for sipping neat while sitting in a leather armchair next to a fireplace, doing your best Nick Offerman impersonation. Or is it? not my cup of tea, but let's see how it does as a base component of a zero proof old fashioned. To do that, you'll need the 4 parts mentioned in the first definition of a cocktail from 1806: spirit, sugar, bitters, and water, which you'll get from ice. We're of course using non-alcoholic ingredients today, but what if you wanted to add just 2 dashes of Angostura? That doesn't add that much alcohol, does it? Angostura aromatic bitters clocks in at 44.7% ABV, which is 89.4 proof. Quite a lot. So Kemp English, a San Francisco-based cocktails and spirits writer, who also runs a website called Academics, wondered how much alcohol do bitters contribute to a non-alcoholic drink, keeping in mind that a drink can have up to 0.5% alcohol in it to be legally called non-alcoholic. He calculated that when using 2 dashes of Angostura, the cocktail must be 5 ounces or 150 ml in volume and contain no other alcohol. Your typical old-fashioned with dilution added will usually max out at about 3 ounces, so you could technically use 1 dash and still be under the limit. But in any case, for those that really want a zero alcohol cocktail, we made these 3 ingredients. So let's mix up a true ZerOld Fashioned. This time I'm making the cocktail directly in the glass or a clear ice cube. Make sure you give the ice time to temper before adding the ingredients. As with any old-fashioned style cocktail, I'm adding the spirit last, so start with 1 bar spoon of maple syrup. This will add some hints of caramel, vanilla and prune, but you can of course use a rich demerara syrup as well. Then come our non-alcoholic bitters, 3 dashes each of aromatic and orange. I'm keeping small batches of these bitters in the freezer to keep them good until I need them. And finally, our base non-spirit, 2.5 ounce or 75 ml of zero bourbon. You can of course use this as a substitute in other whiskey cocktails that you think your non-imbibing friends might enjoy. Give it a stir to mix and chill everything evenly. Then take a wheel of an orange peel and a lighter to give this a special garnish. Flame the essential oils over the top. Place the peel on the ice and that's it. It sure passes the eye test. But let's dive right in. Fruity citrus aroma with a little smoke and heat. That heat doesn't replace the gentle alcohol burn you'd be used to in a regular old-fashioned, but everything we put in our zero bourbon gives it enough character to make the ZerOld Fashioned a surprisingly good zero-proof substitute for the king of cocktails. If you're into non-alcoholic cocktails, give this a try. So my verdict would be, not bad at all, but I'd love to hear what you think about it if you give this a try. Tell me in the comments below. And of course, what would you like to see next with zero-proof cocktails? Coming up next week, we'll make a cocktail you'll need a spoon for. I'll see you then. Cheers!